here's the thing and I know that you don't like to call yourself right-wing media, even though all of your framing is right-wing.
I'm not.
Here's the thing that
I'm not right-wing
I don't
media.
understand is that every time is that Donald Trump has done the same thing, if not leagues worse than all of the small mistakes and errors that Joe Biden makes. But we never talk about those because it's just baked into the cake that Donald Trump is going to say crazy things.
In June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army out of the revolutionary forces encamped around Boston and New York, and named after the great George Washington, Commander-in-Chief. The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across the waters of the Delaware, and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory.
You hear the craziness Trump is saying? He thinks that the Continental Army in the 1700s took over the airports when airplanes and airports didn't even exist yet. Oh, man.
No, it's not that. It's not that.
And because he's graded on such a curve in both this country and international media more broadly, it just comes and goes like a fart in a hurricane when he says that the president of Hungary is Erdogan, for example.
Yeah, but you're missing the point. The point about Trump is he's 78, but has the energy of a 60-year-old.
The energy, this guy is so brain-addled. He thinks that Nancy Pelosi was in charge of the Capitol on January 6th. He thinks that Jeb Bush got us involved in the war in the Middle East. He thinks that, he spends most of his rallies talking about
what you just said.
Hannibal Lecter. He spends most of his rallies talking about Hannibal Lecter, about magnets, about sharks.
A very short period of time.
Yeah, listen to this.
So I said, let me ask you a question. And he said, nobody ever asked this question. And it must be because of MIT, my relationship to MIT. Very smart.
Yeah, very smart.
I say, what would happen if the boat sank from its weight, and you're in the boat, and you have this tremendously powerful battery, and the battery's now underwater, and there's a shark that's approximately 10 yards over there.
What is he
talking about? By the way, a lot of
about?
shark attacks lately. Do you notice that? A lot of shark. I watched some guys justifying it today. Well, they weren't really that angry. They bit off the young lady's leg because of the fact that they were not hungry, but they misunderstood who she was. These people are crazy. He said there's no problem with sharks. They just didn't really understand a young woman swimming now really got decimated, and other people too. A lot of shark attacks. So I said, so there's a shark 10 yards away from the boat, 10 yards, or here. Do I get electrocuted? If the boat is sinking, water goes over the battery, the boat is sinking. Do I stay on top of the boat and get electrocuted? Or do I jump over by the shark and not get electrocuted? Because I will tell you, he didn't know the answer. He said, nobody's ever asked me that question. I said, I think it's a good question. I think there's a lot of electric current coming through that water. But you know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time.
I mean, the notion that this guy is in his right mind is laughable.